Welcome, ladies and gents. Chris Andre here. You can find me at BetBoxing on Twitter. Of course, you can subscribe to the channel. Let's talk boxing. You know, for the first time ever on this channel, I am revising a video. So I've taken down a video that was doing very well. It was getting a lot of views very quickly, over 600 views in an hour and a half. They're the sort of numbers that can take you up into the high thousands. And obviously my aim here is to grow this channel, get as many subscribers as possible, get you guys clicking all those likes, leaving those comments, getting the channel to grow. So it would have suited me to keep my mouth shut, keep the video up, let it spread as far and wide as possible to try and grow the channel. But it just didn't sit right with me. You see, what I tend to do on this channel is give you guys various viewpoints and perspectives. Sometimes those viewpoints and perspectives are what are out there in the Twitter world. They're the prevailing views, and I'm sharing them with you. Other times, they're angles and perspectives that nobody's ever thought of before. And I'm just saying to you, how about you think of it this way, or how about you think of it that way? I don't even necessarily share any views of an argument I'll put forward. If I'm going to put forward 5 potential arguments to you, I can't share the views for all the arguments, but I will portray them in a strong manner. I act as defense and prosecution in a court case, and I let you guys be the jury. Sometimes I'll also tell you what my position is. This is a strong argument, but I disagree because of X, Y, and Z. And this is my position as a result. So I tend to toy with different ideas because I believe that's how you have to critically think. You have to be able to philosophically engage with all these different ideas. But in doing so in the last video, by putting up one of the potential perspectives, one of the potential arguments, it may have come across as though I was supporting the argument. And I definitely don't. And it's a harsh argument. So it just didn't sit right with me. There was no negative backlash. Like I said, lots of thumbs up, lots of positive comments. The video was growing quickly. It suited me to keep it up. It just doesn't sit right with me. And I'm man enough to be able to say I didn't put that argument across well enough. You know, it doesn't sit right with me. And you know, you guys will know I'm not somebody that's afraid to go against the grain. Long-time subscribers, whether it's boxing related or something involving society, as you guys have seen over the last 2-3 years, I am not afraid to take a position and stand against the world if I have to. But in this particular case, it just didn't sit right with me, the way I portrayed it. Now, when I first came across this breaking news, it was an IFL tweet that said, according to Dan Matthews, CHRIS EUBANK Snr has reportedly pulled Jr. out of the October the 8th clash with CONOR BENN due to concerns about his son's weight. My first tweet, before reading anything else, it was a quote retweet, was I doubt Eubank Snr has the authority to do this. It's probably a selling point for the fight. Most fans have been giving Ben 0% chance. So if you make out that Eubank is dangerously weakened, then the result becomes uncertain. And that's a selling point. Now, this is an argument that I've been using for Eubank Jr. himself by saying things like, well, listen, the only big challenge I've got here is to make the weight. I am going to make the weight, but that's going to be a challenge. And by doing so, you're also laying the groundwork for a potential rematch. Yeah, I couldn't take the shots of CONOR BENN only because I was drained when I was 168 pounds and I was fighting big punching George Groves. I was taking those big shots, no problem. And all of a sudden, little old CONOR BENN's affected me? Nah, man, it's only because I was drained. So let's run it back instead of you wanting me to be a weakened version of me. Let's run it back when we're both at our best, and then we'll see who the real man is. We'll see who the top dog is. That could have been the selling point for the rematch. So that's my initial take. Then I read the article, and there was one line which initially, it actually didn't register too much with me, but it's the line where Eubank Snr says, I've already lost one son, I don't want to lose another. Now, while I'm trying to analyze all the potential motives, and I'm telling you guys all the possible different angles of what could be occurring here, that's what the video was about. Why would Senior say this? Is he genuinely concerned? And I spoke about the fact that in some regards, you can understand why a fighter would be concerned, or a fighter's family member. I have been a proponent myself of banning rehydration clauses. They're very dangerous. The video preview to Kell Brook and Amir Khan, I actually showed scientific studies where I showed even a small percentage in losing your body weight in water can actually, something like 2%, can actually seriously increase your chances of getting serious brain damage following trauma to the head. So this is a very serious thing. So I'm a proponent of banning rehydration clauses. Catch weights, if you're comfortable in making them, okay. Sometimes they're okay. That's got to be down to the individual, I think, to make the case. Although I don't ever agree with them for title fights. If you're fighting for a 160 title, you need to fight at 160, not at 157 or 158 or anything like that. Having said that, in terms of rehydration clauses, you can't have a fighter getting in there thirsty and depleted. My man needs to be able to drink as much water as he wants. So I'm a proponent of that. And I was not aware that the 168 rehydration clause was in place. Because when CONOR BENN was asked about this initially, he put out a tweet to say, anything you guys are hearing about this, ignore it. If you haven't heard it from us directly, then it ain't true. Make sure you're getting your information directly from us, because there's a lot of rumors going around. Well, according to Adi Oladipo, who's obviously a boxing insider, he was talking earlier and he mentioned the 168 rehydration clause. Said clearly it's in there. And if it is in there, I am supporting the Eubanks in changing that. It has to be taken out. Because God forbid, if something was to happen to Eubank, everyone's going to start putting their prayer hand emojis and making out like they care, when beforehand they were telling him, you signed the contract, so you got to take the fight. Well, yeah, he shouldn't have signed the contract, but he also can't go in there depleted to the point where it's dangerous. Now, I did say that there is a potential that Eubank Sr. is not concerned at all about his son's ability to make the weight, and that this is actually a ploy, a tactic, lastminute.com, so to speak, because the zone will now be panicking. This is a big fight for us, a big money fight. We don't want to be having to run through the courts and stuff like that. Come on, Conor, just let him come in at 159. Just let him come in at 160. You know, we'll pay you extra amount. Let him come in at that because we've got to save the show and it's a big opportunity for you. So maybe that was the ploy I said. That's another perspective I'm offering. I also gave a perspective, and this is the one that's harsh, which I don't agree with, but I do what I do on this channel, and I try to give you guys the various perspectives. And that was that CHRIS EUBANK Snr is often accused of being a narcissist. A lot of people used to say it's all about him. He would try and take Junior's limelight. Okay, he would come into the ring and stand there opposite him and pose while CHRIS EUBANK Jr. is sitting in the corner and he's not giving him any instruction in the corner. And as a result of that, he may have hated the fact that he's been defied by his son. How dare his son tell him, I'm not going to listen to you, when he told him, don't take the fight now, take it in 2-3 fights time, build it up. How dare Chris Jr. turn around and say this to me? I'm going to regain control. I'm going to come out there and I'm going to make a big hoo-ha about this. That could have been a potential motive if you believe CHRIS EUBANK Jr. is that much of a narcissist. Senior, rather, is that much of a narcissist. It would take a very horrible human being to use his son's death as a sort of negotiation tactic, or certainly to use it in a manner to get back at your son Junior for not listening to you. There are people like that in the world, but I don't for one want to believe that CHRIS EUBANK Sr. is that sort of guy. You see what I'm saying? Particularly because after he really seriously hurt Watson, his knockout ratio fell drastically. And a lot of people feel as though he lost his killer instinct. If this man was a sociopath or a psychopath, he wouldn't have lost his killer instinct. He wouldn't have cared. But it clearly affected him. So I don't think he's a guy that is a psychopath and uncaring about the death of random people, and especially not of his son. But because I didn't make that specifically clear in the preview, in the first video that I put out there, I don't want people thinking I'm suggesting he's a narcissist. I'm simply putting out all the views that exist in the Twitter world, and I'm saying to you guys, what is it you guys think? But I'm now taking a position and telling you, for me, I now agree. My initial position of it was a negotiating tactic to sell the fight and to lay the groundwork for a rematch. That's actually changed now that I've seen that quote and I've heard from Adi in his video that there's a rehydration clause of 168. Since hearing that, my position is now that he's genuinely concerned. And he's right to be concerned, and they need to get rid of the rehydration clause. Let me know what you think, ladies and gents, about all we've spoken about. Like I said, there was no negative backlash. This is not me bottling it in any way. It just didn't sit right with me. It suited me to keep the video up there, grow the channel, get more subscribers, get more viewers. I'm not willing to do that if something doesn't sit right with me. So it's a re-upload. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, everyone. Chat to you soon. Take care. God bless.